And greetings to you, beautiful queens and handsome kings. As usual, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all depending at the time you're watching us from. We are more than privileged to still have you be part of At His Feet podcast, Steadfast Pursuit. For our second episode this year, I will be your host for today, a co-host. My name is Frederick Mainamwangi from the youth ministry, and welcome to our episode today where I'm having 3 other people on set with me, a fellow co-host and 2 guests. I will be allowing themselves to introduce themselves, beginning with my fellow co-host.
What's up? Kuna kizungu mingi. Yeah, naitwa Kibet Brian, one of the co-hosts here. Leo tuko hapa kujinice conversations hapa na pale, and see what we can learn from one another. To my left,
yes, wadau. My name is Meshak Brian. I'm a member of the youth ministry. Yes, so leo tuko huku, looking forward to see what's happening here.
Okay. Hello my people. I'm Naomi, a member huko from AIC Milimani Youth. Yeah.
Nice. And with that said, we can kick off with today's episode. The questions we're having today, we're going to be reading them from these notes. And trust me, they are purely daring. And whenever I'm thrown into such a situation, I usually change my identity. So I'm no longer Frederick Mainamwangi, I am Fredilicious. So guys, you're with Fredilicious. We don't know who Frederick, we don't know who that is. Wacha tuachie hapa. So beginning with our first question, I'm posing guys this one to you. If you could have any superpower, what would it be and why would you use it for God?
Umesema superpower?
Yeah, superpower.
Okay, I was thinking of 2, and I was thinking of there's one about Thor. You see, when he handles his hammer, I wish like I could be summoning every verse when I'm talking to people for their situations. Yeah, and then other than maybe healing, so that I can be doing that. People are emotionally ill, physically. Yeah, just for his purpose. Yeah.
Like miracles.
Your character in a heal pia heartbreaks.
Yeah. Muhimu sana.
Yeah.
Yes, it's great to hear like mtu anataka kuwa na healing superpower. So, but for me, I don't want to have the ability like to spit fire like
Dragon motor testing.
Yes, Dragon of Thrones actually. Yeah, so I want to have that ability like and either destroy evil in real time actually.
Yes.
Wow.
Dragon motor testing.
And I destroy like
Interesting.
Very interesting.
For me, I think naweza taka kuteleport.
Okay.
Maybe for like watu wa mashinani unaweza explain
Teleport nini?
Teleport ni naweza toka hapa instead ya kwenda North Rift, nipande gari ya North Rift in home na disappear tu and I appear home.
Okay.
I think una swali ameuliza akasema, and for what, how would you use it? Probably for me venye si ufanyanga missions una mara moja kwa West Pokot tuanza injili pale, the next minute uko Mboni, kesho uko Somalia. Vitu kama hizo, that would be very interesting.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
kuma injili. That's
kuma injili. Yeah.
I think personally, mi siko sure kama this is a superpower, but I'd say like, I don't know, a thinking sort of power, whereby anything I think, it comes into reality. So how would I use that for God? I think when I see an unbeliever, I would wish for you to be a believer. You become. I'd also wish for you to get anything you wanted and you get. God willing, if I decide to use it for the right purposes. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Yes.
Okay, what's the uncool thing about being a Christian that you actually love?
Something that is uncool.
Yeah, about being a Christian that you actually love.
You wanna go first?
Okay, sure. I think one of the very uncool things as Christians we usually have is that, I don't know kama unajua hii verse kwa Bible where Jesus says, whoever wants to be the first
Shall be
must
the
be the
last.
last. Whoever wants to be the greatest should be the least. Whoever wants to gain his life should lose it. So I feel like that gives us a sense of identity, whereby our peers, especially youth, when they're identifying with many cars or like good jobs, as a Christian, you're just identifying the fact that you're a child of God, which many people will think is uncool, because many people still look at you and be like, you don't have anything, you're poor, you don't have much, but you're still content. Like, it's a great source of peace. So I'd say that's something uncool, but man, I love.
Yeah. For me, I think umemention hata kuna content fulani that you have as a Christian yenye sometimes haimaking sense kwa wase huku nje. It's sort of it's your default response inakuanga tu, man, God is in control, this he got this.
Yeah.
So wase wanaonanga, what do you mean unafaa kuwa up and down busy trying to solve things? But sometimes our default response is, man, mimi na approach stuff from a point of rest inakanga very backward from a worldly point of view. Yeah. But for me, I think that's one of the best things I like about being a Christian.
Yes, so for me, like, the most uncool thing that I love to do, and it might be uncool to other people, like, as youth, sometimes, like, watu wapendangi, like, people who point their mistakes, or they say they call out sin. So for me, I'm always vocal about sin. Hata ukiangalia status yangu sometimes, yeah, I'm always very vocal. Na hiyo kitu, like, watu wapendangi, people just love comforting lies at some point, like,
unatupigianga kelele by
usiangalie like flaws zangu. But for me, I really love to talk about, like, calling a popular sin in church, so it's normalized. So I think many people find that, like, uncomfortable or uncool.
Ni ukweli juu sometimes status zako unatupigianga kelele.
So what am I gonna complain about? So it seems like I'm always brushing people the wrong way. So but that's me.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
I think for me, I think serving in ministry, because I'm in praise and worship, and I noticed, like, people, like, if we plan something for the weekend, I'll always put them on the schedule of my practice will end at this time, and on Sunday my service will end at this time. So I feel like for them it feels uncool because I spend time a lot in church on the weekends, like Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, but for me it's fun. Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. So if you could have dinner with any biblical character, who would it be, and probably why?
Yes, so a character in the Bible. Like, me naweza chagua a job, like that guy, he went through hell.
Good one.
Like that guy in one day, like, he lost almost everything. So for me, nikikuwa na dinner na mtu kama Job, like, nitamuuliza, like, how did he manage to, like, stay calm, for example, I'm just putting myself in its shoes. So, like, mtu kama mimi, like, hiyo kitu ingenifanyikia, like, I would have totally collapsed.
Ungeacha the faith. I left church, not God.
I left church.
Kama simu nilipoteza last year, bado inaniuma. So, like, na imagine Job alipoteza, like, everything. So for me, I'd really love to have dinner with him. Nimuulize, like, how did you cope? Like, how did you manage to stay patient? Hadi Mungu akamrestore vyote. It's like a cool story, actually.
It is. And honestly, just a side note, mention simu yako ilienda last year. I can relate. I can relate to that. Naona tuko wengi kwa hii Nairobi. But if I was to pick a character in the Bible, I think I'd pick Joseph. I mean, Joseph, son of Jacob. That bit where he's being tempted by Potiphar's wife, he doesn't give in. I feel like for all Christian men, that is something.
Very extraordinary.
Text moja.
Tusikuwe personal. Haikuwe personal. But I feel like that's a major lesson for all of us young men. Alafu pia, one thing with Joseph, alikuwa akitupwa into extreme environments na bado his faith kama to Job. Like, the man is in slavery. Ako too trusting in God. He goes to prison, like prison, the worst of environments. He's still trusting God. So I think that was really admirable. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll pick Paul, the one who was Saul before, and then I was converted to Paul. I'd really like to ask him how it was, the experience of, like, the light coming from heaven and changing him and then he becomes blind. I just want that experience. I just want to get to understand that experience for him, how it was. Yeah.
For me, Solomon.
What?
Do you love his wisdom about the other thing?
Yeah.
700 wives.
The queen that visited him alitoka wapi? Ethiopia ama sijui ilikuwa wapi?
Shiba.
Queen Sheba.
Queen
si alikuja all the way kutafuta huyo jamaa kumuuliza form. Lakini mimi msiniulize kwa nini nataka kuongea naye. For some reason.
Okay.
No questions asked.
We ain't judging.
This other question is also kind of awkward. So, what's the funny thing or an awkward church experience you've had? Starting from you.
Janianze. Awkward.
Yes, an awkward or a funny experience.
So nikikuja Milimani mara ya kwanza, niliinvitiwa Bible study. So but nikakuja Bible study and I think if you've been a visitor church, unaweza relate. Like wase wako very chatty. Yes. Like wase wanajuana. Yeah. So nikakuja nikasimama kwa basement. Nikaangalia hiyo time Bible study ilikuwa bado church hall huko chini. So nikasimama nikaangalia wase wenye wanaongeleshana wanakunywa chai. Mimi niliturn tu nikaenda huko. Kasema we'll try again next week.
Vile nimeonanga picha zako za TBT za hii church. Lazima tunge. Ulikuwa kama mtu anaweza toroka hivyo.
Na saizi venye umefit in, ati it's hard to imagine ulikuwa left out.
Mimi nilifika hivi nikarudi home.
Sorry.
Yeah, for me the most embarrassing one was, I said I serve in the praise and worship. So I am so used to singing slow songs. So there's a time I was given a challenge to sing a fast song and I didn't know how to. I remember I sang that day, but going to listen to myself, okay. I was trying to go off beat. Who was that? So I was going off beat, or sometimes, because I'm used to slow songs. So this one I'm off beat or I'm dragging it. It was just the worst experience. But anyway, people noticed, but no one told me. So yeah.
Who are your friends?
I feel like mimi hapa niko na story ya kupiga. Personally, my awkward experience was today. So I don't know, maybe for guys with afros mnaweza relate na mimi, but like when you wash your hair and you don't comb it, kuna venye it coils and it becomes dread like. So kichana ndo itakaa hivi. So I think today in the morning I came to church and I hadn't like combed my hair. So my hair was very dread-like and I received all forms of backlash from our church. Unasikia tu kijana alienda university akaribika. Mwingine, are you still saved? Fred, are you still in Christ? Kuna moja hapa sitaki kumtaja, ako off stage, ako back, sijui ni attack watu wa kamera leo. I leave them in peace. But I have had a long day. Ilinibidi tu niende bathroom, nichukue kichana, nianze tu inirudishe back my afro. But I'd say today was quite a long day.
Wow, we see and judge.
That's so unfortunate.
Surely.
I feel sad for you.
Sometimes you need to bully someone a little bit.
So for me, the awkward experience, like niliwanga first year, then nikakuwa invited kwa hizi revival, the apostolic churches. Unajuanga like after the preacher has already preached, unakuanga na hiyo outer call, watu wanaenda mbele, wanaombewa. So like that guy, nikasikia tu akaanza kuambia mtu like his personal life, like vitu zinafanyika kwa life yake, like this is what you are struggling with, I don't know. Nilisikia kitu kama hiyo, like na mimi sipendangi like my personal life inaenda huko nje. Like you withdraw from that call just. Ukajitoa tu pole like watu wakikuja wengi hivi.
Nasema naomba kidogo tu.
Kwa congregation
kidogo tu yani.
Wanaongelea watu like the personal stuff. Niliogopa hapo. Karudi kwa city yangu.
Na kuna preachers huchukua wanatumia example kwa sermon. Like that man.
Yeah.
That young man who was struggling.
Yeah.
There was a young man who came here.
I think tumefika hapo.
So this is an interesting one. What are some common misconceptions about Christianity?
Misconceptions. Things probably misconception ni kitu yenye si ukweli.
Yeah.
That's what I believe.
Yeah.
one of the weirdest ones ni people actually out there believe that Christianism is an sort of escapism. Like una try kuhepa mashida zako za kila siku, so you resort to this sort of faith. So kujaribu like unaona msana kunyonga pombe ati ndio atoe stress. So they have had an argument that you're trying to shift your problems to someone else. That is what it's a misconception, and it's really not true.
I think kulikuwa na diujama alikuwa anaitwa Karl Marx. I think he said religion, I don't know, Christianity is a buzz. Religious opium.
When they were coming up with their socialist stuff, I think they remarked that Christianity is the opium of the poor masses. So that wale wase wako poor wanapewa this sort of faith to
hope,
to make them feel good.
To feel good about themselves.
Peer slaves,
So next, it's me.
So
for me, the greatest misconception about Christianity, like people think that we are a religion. Like we Christianity, to me, it's not a religion. Like it's a relationship with God. You know, unlike other religions where people try to do works to get to God. Like you're being told you have to do something to get to God. But in Christianity, it's about God trying to reach his people. Like if you remember, there's when Jesus Christ was almost like being crucified, when he was promising the Holy Spirit, he said that at some point you will know that I live in you. And he said that him and the Father are one. So to me, Christianity is about like God lives in us. So to me, that's it. It's not a religion. Like you have to do works to get to God. Like as it's God coming to us. So for me, that's it.
A relationship.
Okay. A misconception that has always been out there, and I've heard people telling and saying out, is like Christianity is boring. Like you're supposed to live in a certain, of course you're supposed to live in a certain way, different from the world, but there's a certain you've been placed in a pedestal that this is how a Christian should really live, like in terms of how you relate with others, and even in your workplace. Of course, you're supposed to relate in your workplace with people differently, but there's a certain way that the unbelievers will look at how you relate and how you conduct yourself and look at your life as boring. So they say Christianity is boring.
True. I think personally a misconception about Christianity, I think I've ever said this before, but it's thinking, now this is to Christians, it's thinking Christianity is a one-day affair when actually Christianity is an everyday affair. Sijui kama mlikuanga niyo kitu when you were children, and then maybe your parents and your teachers would make you feel your life will change at an event. So they tell you work hard, pass KCP, and then I don't know, me was being made feel as if when you pass KCP, life just becomes magical. And then you get to high school, you're told work hard, pass KCSE, and then they make you feel after you just pass KCSE, life is just, you'll get a scholarship to go to Harvard, you know, you'll just get a good wife and good kids and a good car. Life is just, but when you go after, you know, life didn't change. it's still not much of a difference. You still have to like maneuver your way through. So I think another thing we do as believers, we make it feel like when you become saved, things just fall into place. Like you just become saved, you go to heaven. When actually you can still become saved and you're falling. You know, we have pastors who fall, but they're saved. So like it's an everyday affair and not really a one-day event.
I actually remember when you gave your testimony in church, you really said that. And it's something that is very true. Like it's a daily affair. You have to be on your feet every day. Otherwise, the devil is always working hard.
Okay. The next question. This one is, I think it's a bit of reality of what happens in our churches. So how can we better handle conflict within the church?
Handling conflict. In one sentence, I would say honesty and clarity. Given without context. let the hearer understand.
Okay, to me, I have an opposite perspective from yours. Like one of the reasons why conflicts like emerge in church is because people refuse to acknowledge their mistakes. So to me, like if everyone actually, people even leaders were to say that these words, I am sorry, forgive me, I made a mistake. Like if people are quick to acknowledge their mistakes, so it will become easy. Like there'll be no conflict. Like itakuwa wewe niende msamee au msimsamee. Like nikikujia nimemake mistake unisamee. Like there's no point to argue now. It's either upon you to forgive me, to sahau ama ukose kuniforgive. So
Ama mpigane.
True. I think I just compliment what you guys have said, and I'd add, let your faith be anchored on God and not really on a person. Sometimes I feel like we put too much expectations on a person, and then when they let us down, anajitanga pastor, he thinks he's the youth chairman. Like we've placed a lot of hope. We think like such people cannot make a mistake. So I think anchor your faith on God and not really on people.
Yeah, don't trust in men.
True.
Yeah,
They will
do not put your
disappoint you.
yes, yeah.
Yeah, I think also I have the same thought as all of you, but I'm also looking at us yearning to really handle people with grace, like in terms of we don't, sometimes when somebody, maybe there's conflict, and the way he said that we always tend to like judge, or we're super fast to even go talk about it to someone else rather than just approaching the situation the way it is. So the way you've just said, honesty, clarity, and I've added another one, let's just handle them with grace. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, this is one. So, what is the most embarrassing Christian song that you secretly love to sing? Kuna tu song fulani Christian song yenye ukijipata peke yako unaimba.
Okay. For me, I don't really know whether it's embarrassing, but I just say childish. Napendanga read your Bible, pray every day. Read your Bible, pray.
Unajiimbia tu kwa mtu mzima.
Mtu mzima tu na ninaimba. Yeah.
Okay. Mine, the one for, sometimes when I'm just doing some cleaning, I'll be like, waganga wanasema Yesu. And then I'm like, nasikia kichwa. Also, I think it's also because maybe I'm dealing with kids a lot. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, like the song that I consider embarrassing, like it's in my local dialect, so hata mwezi jua nikiwaambia. But the thing that makes it embarrassing, like imeimbwa na our watu wa denomination wenye wanavaanga like kanzu and the red, the cap with strips, the
red and white and green.
Hiyo church inakuanga kwa western, yeah. So watu wa western like hiyo church watu ndio wameimba hiyo song, so like but the reason why nasikia hiyo song it sings about Christ, so hata kama ni embarrassing najiekanga tu earphones naimba vizuri tu, but otherwise siwezi yake in public tunisikie.
Okay.
Embarrassing song that I heard. There was a song, I think it was sung by someone from the coastal areas. Lakini nimeisahau. Ni song ukijaribu hata kuimba it makes sense, but the vibe.
Is it the shika upanga wako thing?
Speak kama ni hiyo ama lakini nimesahau. Na nilikuwa najua
Kuna dawa.
That is not coastal.
That's not even embarrassing.
What was that song? So
because I know one for the coast that goes like shika upanga wako mukate something or mukate pepo.
Hey, it's something like that.
Okay.
Something about kushika shetani and doing something like that. Yeah, it's not even a good song, but yeah, but nitakumbuka hiyo jina nitawaambia.
Okay.
Yes. So the next question here, like najua mmezoana na friends wenu sana, so like if you could have not that one. How can we be more intentional about sharing our faith with our friends?
Kuwa intentional.
Yes, so like unajua friends mabeshte mnakuanga mmezoana sana, like saa zingine hata talk about the faith inakuanga ngumu, so like how can we be intentional with our friends in sharing the gospel?
Okay, let me go. I think people mostly look at how you live your life. So being intentional with my friends is first how I carry myself as a Christian, and the things I do, and how my, like, for them just to see my transformation, like as a Christian. I think it will like push them and say, oh, Naomi started from here and look at how she is right now. Just for them to have that visible look at what everything is happening in my life. I'll be more intentional. I'll be more intentional rather than just talking about it with them. They'd rather see. Yeah.
That's powerful. I think I'd just add something small to that, and I'd say inviting them to your Christianity life. Joe, I feel like at times we come to church, but like our closest friends are not people really from church. They're like people who know you now outside church. Maybe people you're with at school, people you're with at work. So I'd add like maybe kaa kuna Bible study, kuja na ubeshte yako, kaa kuna midweek fellowship service, come there, and with time they'll start seeing that church side of you. Yeah.
Yeah, I think all those are very crucial in terms of kuonyesha example, invite kwa tag along, si wambianga wase kuja na beshte yako. Sometimes hata msee amekuja huko kama amelewa. We receive them as they are. But sometimes pia inabidi tu kwa like just telling them the truth of the gospel.
Yeah.
There's a verse that says, how will they believe if they are not told? Nini ataamini kwanza kama utajamwambia? But I understand ni ngumu. Ni ngumu
Especially to friend,
unamkia beshte yako siku moja unamwambia sikia kuna hiki kitu inaitwa hivi it can be difficult. So all these things come in hand, like zina work tu pamoja ku expose umse to the genuine life of a Christian. Pia usimfiche struggle zako. Asidhani wewe ni perfect sana. Aogopa. Unajua pia mtu anaweza ogopa. Aseme Naomi ni perfect sana.
Hata ni
hizi ni get. Hizi understand struggles zangu. So you also become genuine with them.
Yes. I think like sharing the faith with your friends is so difficult. You need to do hiyo mazoeano ama maybe like wamekuwa kisikia gospel their whole life. So hata mimi naweza chukua hiyo approach ya Fred, like una invite, unajua mahali like the gospel inaenda kuwa moto, unasema leo acha ni invite ule nani. So unamuinvite hapo with the hope that your message like itamchange, because otherwise ministering to your friend, so difficult.
It's actually the same situation na your family members,
especially your parents if they're not saved,
siblings and what. Sasa imagine unarudi kwa mzee wako hajaokoka, and then you now want to evangelize to him.
Unaniambia nini wewe? Si nilikuwa na juzi tu, sinoe juzi tu ulikuwa.
I literally gave birth to you the other day. Sasa umejua sana unataka yeah, it's difficult.
True.
Go ahead.
Haya, coming to our next question, what does it really mean to love your neighbor in today's world? Sounds deep.
Love your neighbor.
What does it mean to
really love your neighbor in today's world?
Yes. Let me go first. So to love your neighbor. So in modern world like kama saizi, like there are a lot of problems. Like watu wako na mashida. Like kuna hata majirani zako, like hata ukiangalia place unaishi, kuna watu wako na different needs, maybe hawana food ama hawana proper shelter, like wengine wako homeless. So for me to truly love your neighbor, like it's to meet their needs, like mwenye tu ako karibu na wewe, hatupatana na msee kwa street ako stranded ama hapo mtaani tu, like kuna tu lazima utapata mtu ako na shida fulani. So if you solve your problem, like to me that is, you have demonstrated that love of Christ.
True. Okay. At times tunaimingi so high na ni kitu tu simple in game change.
So si lazima uombe like solve your problem.
Okay. Me, I'll also just say I've been in a situation where I don't even know who lives next to me, or even people around me don't even know what they're doing and all that. And
Na
there's
uko peke
something,
yako.
yeah.
If you're watching this, do you know the name of your next door neighbor? Have you ever been to your next door neighbor's house? Hauko solo.
Yeah. So there's one thing I do, like where I stay, we have a lift. So every time I get inside the lift, and I meet people, I'll be like, hi. And that one makes them more warm to even approach me. And there's a friend, a neighbor who was struggling with something. She came and borrowed some salt. And from there, we started becoming good friends. To even a point, she used to drink. So to even a point, we talk. And now she was like, where do you go to church and all that? I see you going here. So I think being warm and welcoming and just even a hi will do a lot. Yeah.
To Nairobi msika introvert.
Yeah.
Introverted.
Some of us tunapitanga tu na nod.
That's how men say hi.
And move.
You're not approachable. Unaeka
Sura ni Amanda ya asubuhi.
Yeah.
But for me, I think it would be. Yeah, I think being genuinely kind to them in whatever situation you find. Sometimes unapanga very tempted to judge. Unaweza kuwa na neighbor ana behave too weirdly, and one of the ways of loving them is to just be genuine with them. If the friendship develops, then you can now start talking about their lives and everything.
Yeah. Think I just add ya kucompliment to everything umesema na niseme okay, hapo venye mention in today's world ilinifanya think towards technology and social media. I personally think like siku hizi social media has created a lot of envy. I don't know that you guys will get what I mean, whereby nowadays people really post the highs in their life.
Yeah.
So it's like when you see a person, they have a car, na wewe unataka you do some big move so that you can come and post so that people will say like, guys, I'm also doing stuff out here, man. Like I'm also moving. The pressure, exactly. But I think one way of genuinely loving your neighbor in today's world itakuwa being genuinely happy for a person without comparing yourself to them. So it's like, I see you have a car, man, and genuinely I'm happy for you. I don't have a car, but I'm just happy for you, man.
Inspire me.
No jealousy attached, no envy attached, no hatred attached. I'm just genuinely happy for you. Like, you're inspiring me, yeah. So I feel like genuinely being happy at another person's success is a way of loving them.
Okay. Okay, I'm going next. Okay, how can we better use social media to share our faith? Yeah, how can we better use social media to share our faith?
Yeah, and I think Fred touch something with social media, and most of the times it's what technology has been designed to do, especially social media, to maintain some level of high. So, but if you're thinking of how to use social media to spread, the gospel and something like that, we have opportunities to post, relevant stuff that actually puts out the gospel. Wasa wakienda huko waongelee form zao za weekend, si pia tuko na form zetu za weekend church, we talk about the gospel. This podcast is one of the ways that we are using social media and technology to spread the gospel around. So there's a myriad of ways. Kuna wasa wako Twitter, kuna wasa wako IG, everything. Huko IG wasa wakipost mapicha zao wakiwa vacation, wewe post episode yako moja ya Steadfast Pursuit. Ongeza basi nyingine. Musa ana scroll, anapatana na after pressure ya kuscroll kama sita wasa wanampea pressure. On the 7th post anapatana na Steadfast Pursuit. And they might listen in or read whatever we're posting. And you never know, maybe from that a seed is planted and they develop an interest. And that's how the gospel grows in the technological world.
Kwanza uzuri, you can never know who you have spoken to. You can spoken to like a large knowledge.
You never know.
And just to add on that, even like the app that came a few years ago, TikTok, we have people saying I need some girlies to have like a month. We are doing some Bible study, and just, sometimes I was so curious and let me get into it. And then you see, like, you have a whole community of a lot of women that you meet online to do a Bible study. So also carrying out online Bible studies. And I feel like the book club thing, you can have a book club for just reading the Bible.
Love that.
Yeah, so.
Yes, so yeah. Social media actually provide that opportunity, but anajua algorithm ya social media haijakuwa built like for the gospel, like inakonga ya pride na you show off. But for us Christians, like kama kuna account like poa, like mtu kama mimi na struggle kwa social media, sina followers na si follow watu back. So, yes, I don't follow people na pia wani follow. So
Kuna followers kama Yesu.
X niko tu na
Kwani ni
100
disciples.
followers na follow watu 100 or something. So for me naweza sema maybe kwa WhatsApp status ndio naweza minister, but yeah naweza post nini hapo. But we should always strive to posting like the matters of the faith to like lure other people.
Yeah.
Ta compliment to everything na niongezea podcasts. I don't know, but I honestly believe like podcasts have become the form of communication in the post-COVID era.
Yeah.
Like nowadays I know many people who like listening to podcasts, and I think a podcast is a good way of spreading heavy content, great wisdom in such short amount of time.
Yeah.
So podcast like this one venye tu Brian ametu show. Na pia like I like what you've mentioned. Tuliongelea in last week's podcast your algorithm. Uta get what you usually getting. So if you can like subscribe to many Christian podcasts, it's a
More
nice
keep on
way.
coming, yeah.
And what you've mentioned about the book club, I actually have a book club. It's called Beloved, Feel Tagged. But it's a
nice.
Bible community of just me and my friends where we get to read one book of the Bible every single month. Na saizi tuko Genesis.
That's
Tuko na
lovely.
youth ministry kwa Genesis, yeah.
Okay, that's nice.
Nice.
That's nice.
Alright.
Okay.
And mimi, and I think this might be, because of time, we could do this as the last round of.
Okay.
We'll be coming back again with the next set of questions, but you will allow us to finalize with this question. I think it's a good one to wrap it up.
Okay.
If you could change one thing about your church, what will it be and why?
Wow. Okay. That's a good one.
Naona swali imenirudia tu. Imeamua kurudia this situation.
Tutakujaji tena. But yeah, if there's something that you would
Check
of course
about my local church. So this is my local church, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So for me, I'll change something to do with bureaucracy, like church, sijui kama ni chome ama nisichome, so like so ukitaka kufanya kitu like there is this procedure, lazima uandike letter to this person, huyu mtu achukue letter aipeleke kwa msee mwingine. Yani kitu kingine ndogo like unaweza enda tu uongeleshe mtu direct, this is what I want, but kuna konga na hiyo like gatekeepers every level. So for me I'd eliminate that.
Unataka ukiamua kitu ufanye na ndivyo.
Sisi nifanye niende kwa huyo msee nimwambie this is what we want to do. Akubali ama katae, kuliko kuandika maleta mingi. Andika letter upelekee huyu mtu bado asome approve nini ndio mrudishie information. Kitu kingine ndogo mnaweza chukua 1 week kama 2 weeks mpate jibu. So mimi nitafurahi.
Okay.
Haya. Mimi si mnajua ninarudi kwa ile story yangu. Ya the backlash.
Unafaa kuwa
Mimi
umemove
bado
on.
niko hapo bado sisi toki bado. But I honestly believe not just this church but I feel most churches kuna kuanga na that aspect of, I don't know, niseme church gossip to anyone who can relate.
Yeah.
But it's
Okay.
like people can really carry grudges in their hearts, and especially for those people when you're wanajulikana, maybe a pastor watching can relate.
Yeah.
You're really on the limelight, so you can make a mistake today and the church, we will be talking about it for the next year. Utakuwa tunasema this pastor, you know,
They'll
they did
never
this,
forget.
they'll never forget. Exactly. So I think that envy of how we treat one another, the way you mentioned, we need to treat people with grace. So I feel like we need to increase up, not just this church, all churches, honestly.
Yeah. For me, I think I had a similar experience with Brand Mayo. Like, one thing I'd change, especially the youth ministry. Manze, uko mgeni, day one. Unatoka huko nje, you find people in their cocoon, uko like, okay, you're standing on your own. So I feel we should be more intentional in connecting even the new people with the rest. I think it's something I think from that day I took a personal initiative. If I see someone standing on their own, I'll go say hi, how are you? And try and pull them in to join the others. So yeah, and I feel like we have some cliques, so I would like to change that. Like we shouldn't have cliques.
I've
Yeah.
seen that a lot. Like kwa camp niliona mtu mwingine akicomplain about that, like the Easter camp. So kama umeenda maybe mali watu wakujui, it can be very difficult.
Very
for
difficult.
You.
Ski mimi nirudi home.
Thank God I had my brother. Ningine nimshike mkono.
Yeah, for me I think it's one thing I think we could really change or improve is centrality of the gospel in whatever we do. Come and preaching, let it be known that we are preaching Christ and nothing else. And I wish and pray that will be consistent. And everything else, let all our programs be gospel centered. Let's understand that we are doing this for the sake of the gospel. Yeah, even this podcast, tunacheka hapa for the sake of the gospel.
True. That's
Now
nice.
back to Freddy, yes, you
Wind up.
yes.
And so thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for staying tuned in. We do pray that you have picked up God's wisdom from this. It has been wonderful sharing the word of God, discussing it with you guys. And that's a wrap on today's episode. See you next week. This has been At His Feet podcast. Have a blessed week.
Adios.
Bye bye.